Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. So let us continue with the endocrine system. So the next gland which we shall consider is the pancreas. Okay, so this particular organ we have already come across under the digestive system, right? It is one of the accessory digestive organ, right? So it is the one which secretes the pancreatic juice which helps in the digestion. So over there also we have seen that this particular organ, it functions as an endocrine gland as well as an exocrine gland. So it has both the parts. So it will produce certain secretions which are released into the duodenum through the ducts, right? So that particular part is called as the exocrine part, right? Because it is releasing the secretions in the ducts. So ducts are carrying it to the site of action, whereas the endocrine part, it comprises of certain cells which will produce certain hormones which are released directly into the blood. Okay, so as we have already considered earlier, this flattened organ, it is the part of the digestive system as well. So it measures 12.5 to 15 centimeter in length. So it's a flattened organ and is located in the curve of the duodenum. This is the duodenum. Okay, so in the curve of the duodenum is located this pancreas. This is the organ. So it comprises of three parts as we have seen. The head of the pancreas, the middle portion is known as the body of the pancreas, and the last tapering part is known as the tail of the pancreas. Okay, now coming to the microscopic details of this particular organ. So as we have already considered earlier, the exocrine part, it is the cluster of exocrine cells, okay, which are arranged in the form of clusters. As you can see over here, these cluster of cells, so these are called as acini. Okay, so these are the exocrine part of the gland, and almost 99% of this exocrine cells, these are arranged in the form of acini. Okay, so acini, what is the function? It is to produce the digestive enzymes. So these will flow into the digestive tract, okay, through the several ducts as we have seen, pancreatic duct, accessory duct. Okay, so it will be joined with the common bile duct, okay, and through the hepatopancreatic ampulla it will enter into the small intestine, the first part of the small intestine, that is the duodenum. Now scattered among these exocrine acini are round about 1 to 2 million tiny clusters of endocrine tissue. So you can see the number of clusters which are present. Okay, so huge number of clusters which comprise of the endocrine tissue is interspersed in between these acini. So as you can see, this middle portion over here, so that part comprises of the endocrine part of the pancreas, and that is collectively known as pancreatic islets or islets of Langerhans. So it comprises of a number of types of cells which produce different types of hormones. So exocrine part of the gland, it produces the enzymes, the digestive enzymes, whereas the endocrine part of the pancreas, it produces several types of hormones. So there are a number of types of cells, and apart from that, as you can see that a lot of blood supply is there, right? So the secretions of these endocrine part actually enter into the bloodstream directly. It will not be carried by any duct system. So coming to the types of cells in the pancreatic islets or islets of Langerhans. So it has a round about 4 types of hormone secreting cells. Okay, so a varying amount of or varying number of these different types of cells are present which produce different types of hormones. So the first type of cell is alpha cell, or it is also called as A cells. Okay, so these are the ones. This, as you can see over here, okay, purple color. So these are alpha cells. So these constitute round about 17% of the pancreatic islet cells, and they produce a hormone called glucagon. Then the second type of cell is beta cell or B cell. These are the ones. As you can see, these type of cells are more numerous, right? So around about 70% of the pancreatic islets, it comprises of the beta cells, and the hormone produced by this type of cell is insulin. The third type of cell is delta cells or D cells. Okay, these are the ones. As you can see that very few delta cells are present, right? So round about just 7% of islets comprises of these delta cells, and they secrete a hormone called somatostatin, third hormone which is produced. And the fourth type of cells is the F cells. Okay, F cells, they secrete an hormone called pancreatic polypeptide. So these are the ones which are present yellow in color. So as you can see, very few, right? So round about say 6%. Okay, if you add up all these, so round about 6% of the islets comprises of these F cells which produce pancreatic polypeptide. Okay, so these are the different secreting cells along with the composition and the type of hormones which it is synthesizing and releasing. Now coming to the actions of the pancreatic hormones. So glucagon. So let us consider all these four hormones one by one. Glucagon, the main function is to raise the blood glucose level. So it acts in such a way that the blood glucose level will rise. Now apart from that, this hormone glucagon, it also stimulates the release of insulin. Okay, so these are the four hormones. So this diagram represents the action of one hormone on the release of another. Okay, so all these control each other's release in addition to other actions which are produced. So as you can see, the glucagon, it stimulates the release of insulin. So it causes the increase in the levels of insulin. Okay, now coming to the second hormone, that is insulin. So and insulin, what is the main action? That's to lower the blood glucose level. So both these hormones are having exactly opposite actions, right? Okay, glucagon raises the blood glucose level, whereas insulin lowers the blood glucose level. It helps in lowering the blood glucose level. Now apart from that, insulin has one more action. It is inhibiting the secretion of glucagon. So insulin, what it will do? It will decrease the levels of the glucagon. Okay, so these are the actions of insulin. Coming to the somatostatin, the third hormone. Okay, so this particular hormone, the main action is to control the release of the first two hormones. So as you can see that it is inhibiting the release of both glucagon as well as insulin from the alpha and the beta cells. Okay, so both the hormone release is inhibited. So somatostatin will decrease the levels of both these hormones. Apart from that, it itself can also act as a circulating hormone to slow the absorption of the nutrients from the GIT. Absorption is also decreased. Also, this particular hormone inhibits the secretion of growth hormone, okay, human growth hormone, which is produced by the anterior pituitary. Then the last one is the pancreatic peptide. Okay, so this particular pancreatic peptide, which is produced in very small amount, its main function is to inhibit the somatostatin secretion. As you can see, it is inhibiting the release of somatostatin, so its level will get reduced. Apart from that, it also inhibits the contraction of the gallbladder. Gallbladder, it stores the bile, right, temporarily, and stores and concentrates the bile. So its contraction also will be inhibited, so the release of bile may get affected. Apart from that, it also inhibits the secretion of digestive enzymes by the pancreas. So these are the different actions of the several hormones produced by the endocrine part of the pancreas. Now coming to the regulation of glucagon and insulin secretion. So these are the two main hormones secreted by this endocrine part of the pancreas. So let us see how exactly the secretion of these two hormones is controlled. Now as we have seen under the action, what is the main action of glucagon? Yes, that's to increase the blood glucose level. Okay, so when the blood glucose level falls below normal, what will happen? Glucagon will be released and it will increase the blood glucose level. And what is the function of insulin? It helps to lower the blood glucose level when it is too high. So if the blood glucose level goes above normal, it helps in lowering the blood glucose level, the insulin. So what do you think, what could be the main regulator of these two hormones? Of course, it is the levels of the blood glucose which will control the release of both these hormones, right? Okay, so let us see how exactly these blood glucose levels are altered by these two hormones. Okay, now supposing if the blood glucose levels are low, what is this condition known as? Decrease in the blood glucose level below normal. This condition is known as hypoglycemia. Okay, that is the decrease in the blood glucose level below normal. So which hormone will get secreted now? Insulin or glucagon? Yes, it's the glucagon which is secreted. Why? Because what is the function of glucagon? That's to raise the blood glucose level when it is low. So glucagon will be released. Now how it helps in increasing the blood glucose level? So it will act on the hepatocytes to accelerate the conversion of glycogen to glucose. So you must have studied about this glycogenolysis. Okay, breakdown of the glycogen. Glycogen is what? It is composed of glucose molecules, right? So one at a time glucose molecules will be split from this glycogen. So it will start releasing more and more glucose. One more process which is stimulated by this glucagon is the gluconeogenesis. So gluconeogenesis, it is a process of formation of glucose from lactic acid and certain amino acids. So gluconeogenesis as well as glycogenolysis is promoted. So what will happen to the glucose? So hepatocytes will start releasing more and more glucose into the blood. So as a result of this, what will happen? It will result in rise in the blood glucose levels. Okay, so when the glucose continues to get released into the blood, what will happen? A time will come wherein the glucose level will rise above normal, right? So high blood glucose level, that condition is known as hyperglycemia. So what will happen now? If blood glucose level goes beyond the normal range, above the normal range, what will happen? It will have a negative feedback effect, right, on the release of glucagon. So it will inhibit the release of glucagon. So due to the decrease in the glucagon level, what will happen to these processes? These processes also will get inhibited. Okay, so what will happen? The blood glucose level will be lowered, which was high over here, right? So it will come back to normal by the feedback mechanism. So that's how the release of glucagon is controlled. Now on the contrary, what will happen if the blood glucose level is above normal? That condition is known as hyperglycemia, right? So this will no doubt inhibit the release of glucagon. That is one effect. Plus it will also stimulate the release of insulin, because what is the function of insulin? That's to lower the blood glucose level, right? So whenever there is high levels of blood glucose, that is hyperglycemia, insulin will be released. Now how it will help in lowering the blood glucose level? Okay, first action of insulin is on various body cells. Okay, so it will promote the entry of your glucose into the cells, okay, by the process of facilitated diffusion. This is how it enters into the cell. Okay, so this process is promoted. So more and more glucose which is there in your blood circulation, that will be taken up by your cells. So what will happen to its level in the blood? Obviously it will reduce, correct? So also it will promote this particular process, glycogenesis. What do you mean by glycogenesis? Conversion of glucose into glycogen. So glucose molecules will link together to form glycogen. So glucose is stored in the liver in the form of glycogen, right? So glycogen synthesis will be increased. Another action is to increase the uptake of amino acids by the cells to increase the protein synthesis. So protein synthesis will be promoted. So conversion of these amino acids to glucose, gluconeogenesis, that will also get slowed down, right, because of this. Another action is to slow the conversion of the glycogen to glucose, that is glycogenolysis. This process is also slowed down. Okay, breakdown of the glycogen, that is slowed down. Okay, also it increases the synthesis of the fatty acid. Lipogenesis is also promoted. Another process, that is gluconeogenesis, okay, that is synthesis of glucose from other substances like lactic acid and amino acids. These are also slowed down. Okay, so by all these actions it help in reducing the blood glucose level. So the blood glucose level will fall. Okay, now what will happen as it continues to decrease the blood glucose level? When it goes below normal, what will happen? Low blood glucose levels, it will have a inhibitory action on the release of insulin. So it will stop the release of insulin. So as it stops the release, what will happen? All these actions also will get inhibited. Okay, so it will help in bringing back the blood glucose level to normal. Okay, so this is how the control of release of insulin and glucagon take place. Okay, so it's an important regulator, the blood glucose level, for the release of these two hormones. But apart from that, as we have seen earlier, insulin inhibits the release of glucagon, whereas glucagon can stimulate the release of insulin, right? That's what we have seen earlier. Okay, now as the blood glucose level decreases, what happens to your release of insulin? When the blood glucose level decreases, insulin secretion, that is reduced, right? So as a result of decrease in the insulin release, what will happen to the release of glucagon? When there is more insulin, glucagon release is inhibited. So as the insulin levels are lowered down, what will happen? This inhibitory effect is ruled out. So it will increase in the release of glucagon. Apart from that, even the human growth hormone and the ACTH, these are the hormones secreted by anterior pituitary, right? As such, there is no direct control of the anterior pituitary on the pancreas, but they indirectly stimulate the secretion of insulin, because these two hormones, they elevate the blood glucose level. Now when there is increase in the blood glucose level, which hormone will get released? Yes, it's the insulin, because it helps in lowering the blood glucose, right? So insulin will be secreted. That's the indirect secretion which is caused. Apart from that, insulin secretion is also stimulated by the acetylcholine, which is the neurotransmitter, arginine and leucine, the amino acids. So food containing the proteins, high levels of proteins, will promote the secretion of the insulin. Then the glucose dependent insulinotropic peptide, GIP, which is a hormone produced by enteroendocrine cells in the small intestine, if you all can recall. So this hormone also increases the release of insulin in response to the glucose which is present in the GIT. Okay, so the digestion and absorption of the food containing carbohydrates and proteins will mainly stimulate the release of insulin. Then the glucagon secretion is also stimulated by increase in the activity of sympathetic division of the ANS. Also the rise in blood amino acids if the blood glucose level is low. Okay, so this could happen when the food which contains mainly the protein. So this is another stimulation for secretion of the glucagon. So to summarize, the glucagon which is produced by alpha cells, okay, how it is controlled? Decrease blood glucose levels, or exercise, or protein containing meal. It stimulates the secretion of this hormone, and somatostatin and insulin inhibits the secretion of glucagon. And what are the actions? It raises the blood glucose level by accelerating the breakdown of glycogen, okay, that is glycogenolysis. Also it converts the other substances like amino acids into the glucose. So gluconeogenesis is also promoted. Also it causes the release of glucose into the blood. More and more glucose is released. Next hormone is insulin, produced by the beta cells. So it is secreted by increased level of blood glucose or acetylcholine, as we have seen just now, arginine, leucine amino acids. Then the glucagon also stimulates the release of the insulin, GIP, human growth hormone, and ACTH also stimulate the secretion, whereas somatostatin inhibits the secretion. Now what are the actions to lower the blood glucose level? By transportation into the cell, increase in the transportation, or promoting the glycogenesis, or by decreasing the glycogenolysis and gluconeogenesis. And also it increases the lipogenesis and stimulates the protein synthesis. Third hormone is somatostatin, which is produced by the delta cells. Its secretion, it is inhibited by the pancreatic polypeptide, and actions is to inhibit the secretion of insulin and glucagon, and also slows the absorption of the nutrients in the GIT. Fourth one is the pancreatic polypeptide secreted by the F cells. So its secretion, it is stimulated by the meals containing proteins, fasting, exercise, acute hypoglycemia, and its secretion is inhibited by the somatostatin and the elevated blood glucose level. And what are the actions? It inhibits the somatostatin secretion, gallbladder contraction, secretion of the pancreatic digestive enzymes. Okay. So with this we finish the gland pancreas. We have considered the endocrine part of the pancreas in this particular video. This is the reference. Thank you for watching.